How's it going? My name is Jacob. Normally, I do a lot of engine builds, LS, Chevrolet, Ford, mostly predominantly 100% of the time, American pushrod V8s. Every Wednesday on this channel, I upload engine build videos, but outside of that schedule, I also have Ricky, my red Corvette race car, and I also just recently acquired another red totally unnecessary toy that I want to show you guys. Before we get too far into it, I want to give y'all a quick update on the race program. So for those who don't know, this is my red 99 Corvette FRC fixed roof coupe, not a base, not a Z06, the one before the Z06. I race this car at the Texas Mile. Its current power plant is a 402 cubic inch all Smeding motor. It's got our 11 degree heads, crank rods, you name it, it's in there, camshaft, the whole 9 yards. Fastest I have been with this power plant is 206 with about 750, 800-ish wheel horsepower with nitrous. And I am in the process of rebuilding it for twin turbos. So the intake manifold is off. I got to pull the wiring harness out of the car. Transmission's out of it, getting refreshed. It runs a faceplate at T56. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Let's get on to what I brought you guys here for and what you clicked this video for. So recently, I have discovered the world of motorcycles. All of my buddies throughout pretty much my life since I was 16, one of my friends has always had a motorcycle. And I've always thought, that's really freaking cool. And so finally, eventually, I got to the point with the Corvette where, well, let me backpedal a little bit. Friends always had bikes, but I always had a car. So back in the high school, college days, I had a 93 Fox body. After that, I got Ricky, the Corvette, and went full bananas race car with it. I mean, full containment Kirky, it's got a roll cage, it's got a parachute, the whole 9 yards, it's there. Ricky got to a point to where I couldn't really enjoy it on the street. It became so dedicated to just going fast at land speed racing events and on the highway that it just wasn't really fun in the twisties. And I live out in the Texas Hill Country where that's all we have. It's just nice, hilly, twisty roads. Most of them are pretty clean asphalt. Twisted Sisters are just an hour away. And I couldn't really enjoy the Corvette on that type of road. For one, he's got skinnies up front. It runs a tubular TRZ cradle, K-member up front, so there's no sway bar. This cradle as well, you have to run a skinny because of where they moved the steering system to. So you can't run a nice like street autocross road race tire. So I didn't really have a toy that I could go hoon around in the twisties with. And I don't have room, obviously, in here for another car to do that. So motorcycle opportunity presented itself. So fast forward a little bit. My first motorcycle that I ever owned, purchased, rode, you name it, was this 2022 Yamaha XSR 900. For those who are into the motorcycle world, y'all know that this is the brand new bike. It's a brand new design, new engine, different swing arm location, all new body, all new seat, all new suspension in the XSR family. For the spec guys, it's technically, I think, an 850, 870 cc. It's not quite 900, but it's close. Maybe like 887. It's up there. Makes about 115, 120 horsepower, and does all the things it should. It's an amazing bike. It runs silky smooth. There are no hiccups at all with this motorcycle. I love it. I put 3,000 miles on it in about 4 months. It was my first bike, by the way. You can totally do it. Put the SC Project exhaust on it. Did some, cosmetic doodads, simple stuff, and had an absolute blast. This bike is awesome. Blew the tire up, the whole 9 yards. I don't know, going down a tangent. So, Yamaha was awesome. I love it a lot. It's a really good bike. However, it just wasn't quite what I didn't get bored of it, but I got to a point where I started wanting more. My close friends know that I am with Ricky, or anybody in the San Antonio area that knows this car knows it is brutal. It has a tilt and triple disc clutch that's 7-inch diameter. The clutch itself is 7 inches. And it's got a faceplated transmission. It's got a bunch of motor. It's a nitrous car. It's pretty rough. It's engaging. It forces you to pay attention while you're driving. It's manual steering, manual brakes, no ABS, no traction, with 800 horsepower. And I kind of missed that. I wanted something super raw, super unforgiving. If you screwed up, it punished you. And it just forced you, or forced me at least, to be 1000% in it, like mentally and physically aware. And the Yamaha is more of a relaxing, fun bike. It's something that you can just throw into the corner. It'll do the thing. Really good. Don't get me wrong. This bike is awesome. I mean, it's a brand new XSR 900. But it was almost too refined. If that makes any sense to you guys at all, maybe I'm just a psycho. But it left me wanting more. So, if you want a motorcycle that's a little unforgiving and a little raw, there's nothing quite much better than a bright, shiny, red Italian Ducati. So, coming from the XSR 900, I like the naked bike thing. I like a slightly more upright seating position, but still a little bit sporty. I don't want a full fairing crotch rocket sport bike. And so I basically transitioned to the Italian version of that with this 2023 Ducati Streetfighter V2, not the V4. And that's kind of a big deal for me, is the XSR 900, right? Awesome bike. That's the creme de la creme of that platform. There's the one beneath it is an XSR 700. This thing is the stepping stone. So let's get into some numbers. It's a V2, that's an inline 3. So it's 2 cylinders. You can see one of the cylinder heads right here. It's right there. So you have one head, and then the other head is down here, or the cylinder. So 2-cylinder, 955cc, makes 150 horsepower. An absolute rocket ship. And this is the baby bike. There's a V4 version of this that makes over 200. Unbelievable. I do have some self-control in not going full bananas to the V4 again. I literally bought that Yamaha in June of 2022. That's my motorcycling experience. So I figured maybe I should put my thinking cap on and just get the V2 instead of the V4. Maybe ride it for 1,000 miles and then I'll go get the V4. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna keep this bike for a long time. This much power on the street is kind of perfect. Like you can actually use it and not absolutely fear for your life and still have a blast. The V4, I feel like, at least with my abilities, I wouldn't be able to use the V4 and enjoy it. It'd be too scary. So anyways, this bike, obviously it's Italian, it's red Ducati, and it kind of does the thing I was looking for. It's a little unforgiving, it's a little rough around the edges. You have to get it right. It forces you to pay attention. It forces you to be absolutely engaged with it. And it's just awesome. It requires 1,000% maximum effort. Maybe not maximum effort, but you know what I mean, guys. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, the shock is hanging off the side of it. It's a single-sided swing arm. And it's very Italian. The Yamaha, for example, it's a 2022 motorcycle. It has cruise control. It has a gas level gauge in it. 2023 Ducati, no cruise control, no gas level gauge, because that's not what it's for. It's meant to be ridden at 8 to 10 tenths, 24/7. And only at that pace does it do everything smoothly. The Yamaha, you could fire it up on a 30, 40 degree day. Not that I've done that, obviously, it's still Texas, it's not that cold. But I would imagine, and I would have full faith that it would immediately start up and it would run through every gear super, super smooth with no issues. That thing, even on an 80 degree day, is rough. That engine is not happy until it's at least 150, 160 degrees. And that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted something that was a little more rough around the edges, but anything above 7,000 RPM is just freaking blissfully smooth. It's a weird thing to describe. The way I liken it is the Yamaha is way more fun, but the Ducati is way more capable. You have to be engaged. It forces you to pay attention. I'm probably screwing it all up with lighting by talking with the camera in the sun and my face in the shadow. Sorry about that. So anyways, I'm going down a long tangent trying to describe that bike compared to the Yamaha, but you kind of get what I'm going, and I'll be able to show you some of that when we jump on board and go for a quick spin. I have about 350, maybe 400 miles on this thing, and I need to get it to 600 so I can get its first service interval done before I take it to Circuit of the Americas for my first track day and its first track day, obviously. So, it's small things. For example, I bought some little parts that I want to throw on. So let's jump over to the Yamaha first. So here's the throttle, and on these bikes, it's electric throttle body, basically. So like this is just a sensor, and the throttle bodies are electric, force feedback motor. And the slop in it is non-existent. You can't, I mean, I am barely moving it at all, and it's tensioned. So if totally slack, tension. Nothing. Super, super tight. Handmade Italian. Look at this. Right? Because who cares? Go fast. Have fun with it. So it's like, it's things like that that are, you know, very Ducati-esque, and it's not for everybody. I know that. It's not the most refined, obviously. But I freaking love it. It's so cool. I mean, look at the headlight. Like, just, it's about business. That's all it cares about. So, I actually ordered some parts, and coincidentally, they're the parts to fix the things that I'm now saying that I like. So, yeah, y'all get a psychologist to explain that to me. So, we're going to do like 5 minutes of wrenching in the garage really fast. Of course, that's how it always goes. So, it'll only take 5 minutes. 3 hours later. So, found a company online that makes these little itty bitty spacers, and apparently you can take these spacers and you take apart this little throttle assembly and you can put those in there, and that removes all the slack. Also got some little titanium brake caliper spacers so I can get rid of the reflectors. So I'm going to throw you guys on the tripod really quick, knock out these quick couple mods, and then I'll go gear up and we'll go for a quick spin. Okay guys, there we go. So I got those spacers popped in, and now there is absolutely no slack. It is rock solid and then opens. Awesome. So all the Italian things I love about the bike, I am eliminating one by one. This is going perfectly to plan. As well, because it's a Ducati and I am now a Ducatista, I got the titanium spacers because I don't know, I'm shaving grams on a bike that I cannot ride, but more than, it's beautiful. I love it. Got rid of the reflectors. Okay, I'm wasting a lot of time. The sun is setting fast now. I'm gonna go gear up and let's hop on board.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see more Motovlog videos. A lot of my other car guy friends are gravitating to motorcycles recently. Might be a trend. Just want y'all to let me know if this is something y'all want to see more of, or nah, let's keep it to the Corvette and engines. So there it is. Let's swing a leg over the Italian stallion, and immediately you're engaged. The seating position, handlebars, immediately your mood shifts. You kind of click into a different gear. Like, a lot of people think, oh, if I get a motorcycle, I will be too irresponsible. You kind of aren't. It's a weird thing to describe. You kind of subconsciously and consciously understand the risks and what you're getting into, and you kind of switch gears, if that makes any sense at all. So turn it on. And let me kind of show you what I mean about, oh wow, that throttle spacer's totally worked. Nice little roar to life. Again, this is my first time ever motovlogging with this microphone setup, so I heavily apologize if my voicing is totally terrible, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So let's cruise on out of here, get the visor down. And I don't know if y'all can see, but it's just a little rough when it's cold, and I like that. I don't really want my super fun go fast toy to be super smooth. I mean, this thing rattles, it's not happy, and I love it. Man, those spacers, $20 well spent. Hear the rattles? Oh, let me see if I can get y'all to hear this. Or even see them. Oh, it's not good, and I like that. So, being this Ducati Streetfighter V2S, I have no idea how much fuel I have left. So, anytime I get on this bike, first place we're going to is a good old gas station to top her off. It's been super rainy and gloomy all day, and just in the last couple hours, all of a sudden, bright blue skies, roads dried up, so perfect day to go for a little spin after work. If you're somebody who does not have a motorcycle or who has never ridden a motorcycle but is interested, if you grew up riding bikes as a kid and you have driven a stick shift car, or you can drive a stick shift car proficiently, you're gonna pick it up so fast. It's so instinctual. It's like that, you know the saying, you never forget how to ride a bike. Well, it kind of copies right over. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Of course, this bike has a bi-directional quick shifter, so if you want to change gears, no clutch, just click it up. Another super cool thing you can do on a motorcycle is you can get gas while sitting down. You never get off the bike. All topped off with gas. I went ahead and previewed some of the footage I just shot. Seems to be, I don't know, decent, not bad. Room for improvement, but definitely not a failure. So full of gas, let's go. Oh man, those spacers, if you have a Ducati and you have not put those spacers in, holy cow. Completely changes the bike for like 20 bucks, man. And that's kind of the thing about motorcycles that you don't get with cars, is it's so much cheaper. And the sense of satisfaction and thrill and enjoyment, I think, is a little bit better. It's more rewarding. Maybe that's what it is. When you get it right, it feels good, because you know you did it. I don't know. Doesn't make sense unless you're a bike guy, I guess. So I kind of have like a pre-built route that I take after work sometimes. Some days, sometimes I just combine those words. And I'll take you on that little spin. A lot of my car friends actually are either already bike people and I'm late to the party, or they're also switching, not switching from cars, but just adding the bike factor to their garage, staple, whatever you want to call it. It's more visceral. That's a good way of saying it. You're just so much more connected to the road. Free air. And yeah, there's the safety deal. If you get in a crash on a motorcycle, like, more than half the time you will die. So there's that. However, if you're not an absolute dumbass and you invest in good gear and actually use the gear, you cut those statistics substantially. Also taking the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, the MSF courses, highly recommend. I think I owe that course a lot to how and why I owe a lot to that course in general on making me a safer, better rider, more comfortable, more confident. Not confident, that's not a good word. You should never, like, you should be confident, but overconfidence on a bike will kill you faster than anything. But Ducati's starting to warm up, about 160 degrees almost there, and already starting to smooth out, starting to feel just good, rewarding. Oh, if y'all don't know, this engine has no valve springs. It has an opening and a closing ramp, or I'm sorry, an opening and a closing, yeah, opening and closing ramp on the camshaft. There's basically one cam lobe opens the valve and the other cam lobe scoops the valve back up and closes it. And what that kind of gives you is an engine that has no friction to spin over, so just a little throttle blip. It can just shoot the RPMs up. So much fun. It's like a lightweight engine. What's crazy about this bike too is it's easy. You can just, it all clicks. It's super natural, I guess. It's instinctual. You just immediately understand what it wants, where it wants to go. It does exactly what you tell it to do. The slightest push on the hand, it's dropping down. You can just think oh, this is gonna drive me crazy. I'm terrible with cultural references, but oh, an avatar with the hair, and you like they plug their hair into their the birds that they fly around. I don't know the names, guys, I'm sorry. And it's like the thing how you can just think it and the bird does it. That's kind of what this is like. That's a good way of explaining it. Good job, Jacob. You just think, okay, yeah, let's set up here. Boom, it did it. Alright, come into this turn. Outside, start to push it in. Obviously I'm in traffic, so I can't really lean it over, but you kind of get the idea. It just does what you ask without you having to ask it. There you go. And I know I sound like a total Ducati simp right now, but man, if you haven't ridden one of these things, they really are special. And yes, I know that when I go to my track day, there are going to be people with way, way, way less motorcycle kicking my ass. I am totally comfortable with that. But I want this. Like, it's just special. You twist the throttle, play with it, click the shifter. The brakes are perfect. It's just so good. It also has all the electronic packages. So it has 6-axis inertia measurement unit, a 6-axis IMU. And it's basically feeding the bike all the time of how much, where everything is basically. So the bike knows. It has like, it's things like, and again, I didn't know any of this stuff as a car guy until I got into the bike world. They have lean sensitive ABS, lean sensitive traction control, lean sensitive slide control. So depending on your angle of attack into the corner, it's adjusting how its ABS, traction, slide control, all the functions are working. You don't really get that in cars. Maybe you do. But it's like, so this bike is like $17,500. What kind of car is that? I don't know about affordable, but yeah, I mean, that affordable, that it's going to give you this much performance. I don't think it exists. Nice C5. A little bump in the bumper. Little baby power wheelie. It's just right there. Keep your head upright and still, and you can just play with it. Lean off the side a little bit. I'm not doing anything cool, but you get the idea. We'll get around these cars in a second. Ooh, a little squirrely coming into there. Brakes are just there, buddy. Come on. dropping it off with Yamanube, of all people, in a couple weeks. He wants to borrow it for a few days and make a ride review video, since it's new for the generation. Or it's a new generation for the model, that's a good way of saying it. This part of the road's cool. You know, come down this hill, first gear corner, up. Jump this cattle guard. Woo. Quick battery check here. See how you guys are looking. Just let that V-twin thump away. And L-twin, V-twin, I'm not going to get into that debate. On the side of my bike it says V2, so I'm going to call it a V2. Maybe not a V-twin, that's kind of Harley and American-y, but I'm going to call it a V2 instead of an L2. Alright, battery's good, memory card's awesome. Let's go carry on, gentlemen. There's usually a stretch of frontage road right up here that has pretty low traffic, usually. See if I can get a nice 60 roll for you guys, my car guys who don't really know what bike power looks like. Let's get to it, eh? So second gear. Now let's just roll in and see what happens. I really need to get this bike to 600 miles before my track day in a couple weeks, which obviously is doable except for when it's Texas weather and every hour it changes. I mean, literally guys, all day today in San Antonio it was just gloomy and rainy and misty and just very depressing weather, and then literally like within 30 minutes, boom, clear blue skies, dry roads. Well, alright guys, it is dark now. I am freezing cold, was not prepared for the weather. Again, super novice rider here. Don't really know what I'm supposed to dress for, but look at that. I just finished taking the thumbnail in this cool little industrial spot. Got some photos for Instagram and social media stuff. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about the motovlog? Should I stick to the car racing and American V8 stuff, or do y'all want to see a little more variety? I am totally cool either way. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'm always down in there talking to people, chatting with guys, giving out advice. So meet me down there. Sounded weird. Anyways guys, I'm at a loss for words now. Oh, was this down the whole time? That's cool. I just love this bike. It's so cool. If you ever get a chance to check one of these out and take it for a spin, you gotta do it. You gotta give it a shot. Even if you're not a Ducati guy, even if you can't stand Ducatis, give it a shot, man. It might just surprise you. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.